Have you ever wondered what makes bodies tick? Are you creating the sexual reality you desire and require? Would you like to know more about what else is possible with bodies? What if your fantasies are not as strange as you thought they were? What if you could learn to be kinder to your body and kinder to others' bodies? Would you like to create confidence in the bedroom and beyond? How has your sex life or lack of it affected other areas of your life? Have you lost your mojo and wondered where to find it? Everyone has the potency to be a sexual superhero. Get ready to listen, sense, and play with the sexualness that is you. Now, here is the host of The Pleasure Zone, Body Whisperer, Milica Jelenic.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and today, my guest, I'm so lucky because this is her radio virginity, Natalie Krishna. Welcome to the show. So excited to have you on. So before we start the show, I'm just going to introduce me to all the new listeners, and then I'm going to let you introduce you to all the new listeners, okay? So body work. I do a lot of different things. Actually, this last weekend, I spent with my friend and producer, Christine McIver. We were in Access 3-day body class, playing with bodies and energies and creating ease in bodies. And I had a lot of fun playing with bodies, and my partners happened to be Cass Thomas and Vladica Georgievich, and Vladica was our guest last week on the show. And it was a lot of fun for me to play with people who have received a lot of body work. One of the things about that was that the level of receiving, especially when I was playing with the one host, the level of receiving and vulnerability she had with me was like so incredible. And her gratitude for what I could facilitate for her was like amazing and like life-changing. Her gratitude is actually like incredibly not only gracious, and it actually is life-changing for me. Her acknowledgement of my capacities was like, wow, you know, sometimes working on people that have never had any body work before, and they're like, wow, that was amazing. I'm like, okay, thank you. You have no reference points, and thanks. And she has some reference points for like other body work and other body workers, and really loved what I could facilitate for her. So I was so grateful for her willingness to receive from me. And a lot of what I talk about on this show is like the willingness to receive in different ways in different areas of our lives. And so yeah, as a body worker, energy worker, and many other things that I'm creating, I just like facilitate in so many different ways. And Natalie Krishna actually got like, she is a CF, and she also does something called Right Relationship for You. I also, Natalie, called you, I think I called you a makeup magician or something, and blog, and a makeup blogging expert. I have like a lot of names for you. So I gave you a lot of titles. When people look at this show, they'll see all the titles that I gave you. And partly why I invited you on this show is we had created a Google Hangout together on blowjobs, which I required editing for a variety of reasons. So perhaps that will be posted again in future. Your knowledge of, your like willingness to be vulnerable with bodies is such a treasure to me. And that, like I was saying, when I first met you, I met you at a class. The first time I met you, I totally judged the fuck out of you, to be honest. I was like, oh my God, she's so pretty, she'll never talk to me. She'd never be my friend because she's like out of my league of friends because she's so pretty, she'll never talk to me. It was really funny because at the end of the class, I had said that, and I literally touched like everybody's bum in the class except for yours. And you pointed that out to me, and I was like, okay. And you're like, will you hold it now? I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And I was like, and now I love so thank you. It was really funny. It was pretty sweet. So yeah, it was one of those really great lessons of like the judgment, right? Where it was like you like judging somebody up front for the physicality of their beauty. For me, it was like you intimidated me. Like your physicality intimidated me. Your beauty intimidated me. And I was like, oh, and yet it was such an invitation at the same time. This is why I called the show Sexualness, intimidating or inviting, and what if it's both?
Oh, that's... You know what's so cool? When you were creating that, when you were with your, I guess, judgments that you had concluded at that time, I actually was thinking, I would really, like, I just saw you there, and I just saw this vibrant, beautiful being, and I'm like, she's hugging everyone, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm next, and I'm like, oh, she doesn't want to play with me. Oh, she must know them. They must be. And I came up to my own conclusions as well. I was just like, or my own judgments. I'm like, oh, I must not be in the right crowd or in the... So it's interesting that you say that.
We're so cute, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Like, what if we all just, like, walked up to each other and admitted stuff like, hey, I have this judgment about you. And like, just let it out. I actually did that with Daria Hansen at a class. I was like, okay, I have these judgments about you, but I actually had this awareness as well. That you're actually 1% that, and like 99% the exact opposite of what I judged you to be. And she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. It's true. I actually am only like 1% that, and I'm actually really shy. I'm like, oh my God. And now we get along amazingly. It's really funny. So how much more if we were willing to like pull down our barriers and if we pull down our barriers and be willing to be vulnerable, how much more can we receive from people? Like that whole, the word intimidating, I was actually a call with Daria, and she was saying like the word intimidating is like intimate dating. It's all those like elements of intimacy with dating you. So what if we chose all of that? And to me, Natalie, it's like you embody that. Too, like those elements of intimacy with you. Can you tell everybody like some of your background? Like I know some of your background, but what I know about you is fucking mind-blowing. Oh, by the way, we're allowed to say fuck on here.
I was worried about that.
So if you do say holy fuck, it's mind-blowing. Yeah, you're okay. So
okay, awesome.
Please tell, like, let everybody know, like, your background story before Access, and then like how your life has changed for those who actually don't know you.
Okay, so it kind of started, okay, we'll start with my marriage. We'll start like at that point. When I was younger, I was really free. I was typical humanoid child that just like, I thought there was beauty in everything, and I had so much joy. And then I noticed like when I was older, it was almost too much for people. So I noticed to function with other people, I had to start shutting stuff down. So I noticed that if I conformed, I was accepted by my mom and my family and all that. So what a good girl did at the time was you get married and you go have children and you get up at 6 a.m. and bake pies and fresh bread and everything, like every morning. And I did that. I got married to my high school sweetheart, and I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And I ended up I was just not following my awareness in any way. And I ended up moving into, actually right after we got married, he moved away to Alberta, and like literally 2 days after signing our marriage papers, he just surprise, I don't really want to live here. Let's move away. So I moved away from my family and everything and moved where he wanted. And he was out of town a lot, and I tried my best, but we lived in a trailer in the middle of nowhere. And we had a mouse-infested house where the mice used to eat each other alive. There was wasp nests that my children would step on because I didn't know how to get rid of them. And we just weren't a priority to him at the time. And so he wouldn't fix that stuff. And it got to the point where I was just. The picture you showed before and after, I actually had a little bit of oh God, please don't show that, because I was so embarrassed of how I used to live. But I'm so grateful now. And that woman in that picture, I was out chopping wood in the middle of we had no heat in the house, and that was the only way I would the house was if I go and chop wood in the middle of the night, there was no power. I did all of that. And so the girl that was there, I always had hope though. And I kind of made a demand one day. I'm like, this does not work for me. This does not work for me. I was looking around and we lived on a farm and he wanted me to get rid of all my shoes and because it wasn't necessary for a farm girl. And I did that. I
death to Natalie.
Yeah. And I did. It was. And it was my own, I just cut off everything because that's what I thought you were supposed to do. And I was really accepted by my family, which was great. That's what I always wanted. But then it just really, I looked around and my life it was not what I wanted in any way. And so I just made the choice, actually. One was I realized the marriage wasn't working at all. And that was big for me at the time. And I just started making choices. It's like one day I literally just chose to jump off the cliff. I was going to stop living for everyone else and I'm going to do me. And I started taking care of my physical body. I started wearing makeup, which I wasn't allowed to prior. And I started just playing. And business-wise, that was scary because they actually knew me as a voodoo witch doctor. I did this crazy weird energy stuff that they can't explain, but it works. And my business, everything just blossomed and bloomed after that. Like when I started choosing for me, and the only thing I did different was I actually started following my awareness with what felt light. Like what felt light, I would do. If it felt heavy or icky, even being around certain people, if it felt icky or heavy, I wouldn't do it. If it was light, I would do it. And I've kind of just created everything from there.
That is it's just awesome. It's the demand, right? So as anybody who's listening, as listeners, how many of you are like sitting in your shit pile kind of going, oh man, this is such a pile of shit. Like, I wish I could change it. Oh, I could change it, but everybody but me could change it. Like, what if it truly is committing to what you would like your life to be like and making the demand to have it?
Yeah. And actually, one of the things at the time...
If you guys saw that picture, right, that picture of you is like so completely different, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, one of the things at the time is one of the ways that I kind of blinded myself with it was I actually painted this picture of I'd only look at beautiful things and I'd only I kind of got into this self-help movement where it was all about law of attraction. So if I only look at the beautiful things, and that kind of kept me in there a few extra years because I was like, oh, he only does this because of this. And I'd make excuses for my marriage and I'd make excuses. And it was like, it finally, like, where it got to the point where I had to just really like, hey, is this working for me? And one of the big things, I actually, it all started with a girl asking me about going out she asked me to go out for supper, and she asked me something so simple, what would you like for lunch? And I'm like, oh my God, I know what my kids like, I know what he likes, and from there, that's where I'm like, I'm going to learn about me. I'm going to see what I like. And that's where I started seeing where I wanted to create my life from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just even that, like, knowing, whoa, I have like a choice. I actually have a choice. Amazing, right? Like, so many places in my life where I thought the person that I chose to have a child with, I went into the conclusion, well, I had a baby with you, thus I will sacrifice everything and anything to be mummy, to have the parents together that I didn't have. It's like it was a really interesting choice on my part. And then when I unchose it, my life has literally like the things that I'm creating and the things that are coming to my awareness, it's like everything that I was refusing receiving is now starting to show up. So what if there's something that you could choose that you were refusing choosing, that, you know, because you're committed to shit instead of committed to you? Like, how fun is that? Would you like to change that? It's just that. You could, over break, you guys can change it. So everything that is, you destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion. right wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And we're going to go to break, and when we come back, you can just let all the crap piles drift out of your life, and we'll just change something. And then we'll come back in a few minutes.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
This is The Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and today my guest is Natalie Krishna, and we're talking sexualness, intimidating or inviting. And one of the things we're kind of chatting about was like making the demand to have something greater in your life. So for all of you out there who have ever seen Natalie on Facebook, if you haven't friended her yet, she also has videos on YouTube. There are the sweetest makeup videos I have ever seen. I actually have like no desire to wear makeup, had no desire, and something about your videos, I actually go, wow, that could actually be fun. So I don't wear a lot of it right now, but I have actually started wearing more. You like inspire me in the, like, it's very funny how, for me, that although I've never like sat down and had lunch with you or anything like that, and I've seen you in classes, you actually inspire me in like so many ways to choose more. And I just want to say thank you for that, because I don't know if and I see other people commenting on Facebook to you, and there's something that's so deliciously inviting about what you're choosing, that I just want to acknowledge that and thank you for it.
Oh, yay, thank you. You know what's so cool about that is how many of us, though, have that, are a gift, and we don't necessarily see it. When you were saying when we first met each other, I just saw you, and I saw your posts before I met you on Facebook, or before I met you in person, and we don't acknowledge the gift that we truly be. And it's usually the other people that do, that are the ones that kind of like, oh, really, call it to our attention, because we don't necessarily see it in ourselves, which is really silly to me. Like, let's just, if you guys are willing to, let's just join and create that.
Yeah, let's start to acknowledge.
Start to acknowledge the beauty and the joy that we truly be, and the gifts we bring to others. Like, let's just, everything that doesn't know that, if you would be willing to, let's just join and create it all.
Yay.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD, shorts, boys, and beyond. Yeah,
I love that. Go ahead. Yeah.
I find even the beauty in the beauty industry, I actually had so many judgments when I first started. I thought I was, I'm like quotations here, quotation natural beauty, because that's what my mom taught me. You have to have natural beauty. Anything else is fake and it's not real. And that I just realized, if you're not ready to take a step in a certain direction, you have to judge it. You have to judge it as wrong, and that's exactly what I did. I thought that makeup, glitter, shoes, anything else was just wrong. And when I started POD, it was actually Access that changed that. And it was, once I started like just destroying and then creating all my points of views that I had about things, and starting to really like choose for me, I'm like, oh my God, these are so fun. Oh my God, makeup is fun. Oh, and I just have so much joy with it. I noticed when I was actually working in as well as a makeup artist, I used to work at MAC Cosmetics, and like a lot of women would come in, and I noticed they would give their power over to us because we worked there. They were like, oh no, you decide what color is best for me, what color. And I was actually the worst employee, because I'd always tell people, no, go down to Walmart. You can get a $3.99 mascara. It works way better than this stuff. But I would always just like, what feels good for your body? I would always bring people back to their awareness, like that, because that's what's going to really make you feel good. When I was talking about like when I was creating my life, it all started with me what felt good. I didn't have a lot of money, and I actually started with a little dollar store Buddha when I was first separating. I saw this, I was like, you know what, if I can just see beautiful things, and if I can fill my life with that stuff, it'll attract more beauty to my life. And I cannot explain the amount of beauty that just keeps coming into my life day to day. Like, it's just it's like a normal occurrence, and I am so grateful for that. Like, and you don't realize it until other people have said, like, holy crap, that's normal for you? And
yeah, I know, because it's like so funny the way just the whole thing that that buying a Buddha could change your life. Like, just choosing little beautiful objects could change how Buddhism changed my life, but not really, but just a little statue. That's awesome.
Just the beauty. Yeah, and even like the makeup, what I found that when I felt better, like, so I started playing with it. That's actually how it started. I was an esthetician and all that stuff before, but it was all like more, this is what you're supposed to wear, and this is what but I kind of just got rid of all that, and I just like, oh my God, I feel so pretty when I put on this pink blush. And I seriously felt like a princess. Like, I still remember the first day I did it, and I was like, I thought I was the most beautiful person in the world, because I just felt like a princess. And in that created more. So that's that could be why, like with you're talking about watching my videos, is just, it is an invitation to play. What feels light for you? What feels fun for you? And I do that all day. That's how I live my life every single day. I follow what is light, and I kind of go from there. It kind of annoys some people, because like I don't always make concrete plans, because I'm always like, let me kind of see what comes up around this. If it's not like a pop yes right away, but that's what works for me, and right now, and I love it.
and it's creating so much for you. And like, so, it's such, every time you like post something cool about new shoes, I'm like, wow, what would it take? Like, I'm sure there's also a whole other gamut of people who are like, oh my God, that bitch in her shoes. But I'm like, wow, what is she choosing that I'm not choosing? That if I were choosing it, I could have those shoes too. Like, there's just something like that actually springs my mind to question when I see the things that you post. They're like an inspiration to choose more. And especially like after hearing your backstory, I was like, I am a girl who lives in the woods right now. I don't chop wood in the midnight, but, I bring wood in and put it on the fire to stoke the fire. I like the space of nature, but I also like looking at your home when we did that call, and the luxury of your home is like absolutely beautiful, and the ease of living and choosing and going, hey car, what car would I like to drive today? Hey car, which car would like me to drive today? Like to look in the driveway, I have more than one choice of vehicle I could try. Like that is so cool. It's just so freaking cool.
And you know what? I didn't even see it when it was happening. The way it kind of happened, even having 4 vehicles in my driveway, how even that started was I was just driving one day, and I had a family vehicle. I'm like, what would it take to have a bigger family vehicle for me and my children? I wonder what that would be like. So I created that, and then it was like, I didn't just create that. I actually ended up getting the luxury version, which was awesome. And then I found out, I'm like, it would be so cool. I love to have a Range Rover. That's like my dream car. What would it take to create that? But I want one just to run around in, to run errands in. And I live in a city, so I'd like a car for when I go downtown, so it creates ease with driving and parking in places. So I got that, and then I got that. Then I want a vehicle that's like, then got another luxury vehicle that is so, it's only brought out once in a while, just like more the spring, summertime. And it was like everything that I wanted, I was just creating, and it was just so much ease. Even shoes, like I love shoes before, but I actually started watching Sex and the City, and I'm like, those are absolutely beautiful. And I honestly didn't think it was part of my reality either. I actually just was like, those are beautiful. Just same with the Range Rovers, having all my vehicles. I actually thought, like, I didn't think it was part of my reality. And the cool thing is not having to pay for them, not having to make payments on them, like having them all paid, so I don't have any extra expenses, which that's something that would create, I don't necessarily have ease with that kind of stuff. So being able to do that, well, actually I put on my first pair of designer shoes just for like sheer, like, not even thinking that I could purchase it, to be totally honest. I was like, no, there's no way. I just want to see what they feel like. Oh my God, I was going home with them. And it was like, and it just started, I think right there I actually made the demands. Like, look, this is something I want more in my life, like communicating with my body. This is something I'd like to create. I want this. This is more. And so then it just started becoming I now get like 10 pairs a month. I just get, it's just become something I really enjoy. And
your body is like creating everything that will have that show up, right? So what if we could ask our bodies, hey body, if you really like these shoes, can bring to you everything that's, to have them. Like whatever that is.
Yeah, and it shows up in the most amazing ways. It really does. I've had just the most amazing ways. Money show up, like just bills being paid, like, oh, you've actually paid ahead. When I didn't really, but they're like, oh, you've paid ahead for the next 2 years. You're good with this. I'm like, oh, really? Cool. Awesome.
I love your magic.
Like, what else is that? Yeah. Yeah.
Your bills are paid. Oh, okay. I think it's better than that. Can we do one of those for me, please, right now? I'd like some of that magic. Everywhere where Natalie has that magic and you think you don't have that magic, can we just destroy and uncreate it all and tap into some of that magic and bring it home?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so friggin' awesome. We go to break in 10 seconds. When we come back, we're going to talk about how much more fun Natalie is and all the fun things she's creating in her life, which I found intimidating and inviting because she's sexy. Talk to you soon.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and my guest today is Natalie Krishna. Our topic is sexualness, intimidating or inviting. And part of this topic for me is like looking at where we're choosing to really step into and embody the sexualness we truly be, and how that can be an invitation to more. And I said it like, if those of you who saw this on Facebook as a post or anything like that, you might have seen that I actually said that like Natalie is like the embodiment of yumminess to me. Like that word, I swear, was created for you. And there's like this thing about it. It's like when you're choosing to allow yourself to be walking, talking, be like just in your being, just being and being vulnerable and choosing for your body and listening to your body, and how much of an invitation that is to others, and how it can also be incredibly intimidating to others. That your ease with your body and the joy with your body can sometimes be both intimidating and inviting. And how amazing is that? So can you do you have any tools that you use like every day? Like say you wake up in the morning, you say like you're in like you communicate with your body all the time. So for the listeners that don't really know what that means, or this is their first time listening to any show on A to Zen and they haven't heard us talk about communicating with bodies, can you give them a few maybe questions, tools that they can utilize to create more in their life? And also friend Natalie on Facebook and watch her YouTube videos so you can actually see what I'm talking about.
Yeah. The first thing I do when I wake up actually is there's a couple things I do, but the one before I even open my eyes. If I'm going to wake up to an alarm, which I try not to, but if I am going to wake up to an alarm, I start off with my alarm being something that's nurturing to me. I do not like waking up with a panic mode. I've had that with my children, getting them ready for school and like, you're going to be late. Where I actually just it irritated me and we all had a crappy day. So I finally just was like, you know what? I realized I'm the parent here. I'm not going to get in trouble if the kids are late. So we actually even started making fun of it, and we would just go and have a Tim Hortons coffee, and we'd make fun. If we were going to be late, I'd make it so it was joyful. And so what I discovered from that was I like to be nurtured first thing in the morning. So I have a song that's really nurturing for me. You can do anything from Enya to anything beautiful that makes you feel good. And so I start by waking up to that. And then when I open my eyes, I don't know how the radio station is with this, but I actually either say, "Good morning, God," or I say, "Who am I today and what grand and glorious adventures can I have?" That's like the access. Before access, that's what I would say is like, "Good morning, God." Like, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? And just with whom? And that's how I started it before access. After access, now I just like, who am I today and what grand and glorious adventures would I like to create, or would I have? And I start off with that, and I made sure, instead of being a panic mode, I make sure I get up a few hours before everybody else in my house so that I can start by nurturing me. So I'll do what feels good. I like to have coffee and quiet. I like to I like to do that, and I like to listen to clearings or good music, and I like to work out. It's one of my self-care things that it feels so good to me. And I start my day off like that, and I just keep going. If it pops to do my emails, I follow the energy. If it feels light, I'll go to my emails. I'll go to this. And that's kind of how I create everything. So
it's like honoring you from the moment you wake up.
Yes, to the moment I go to sleep. If I don't honor me, I have found if I'm not honoring me in any way, I create shit. And for example, I was in Vancouver, and I'm just going to use a tiny little example. I was going up. Something told me that it was an empty elevator, and it was like, go to the elevator. And it was like, take the next elevator. And there was nobody in the elevator, so it made no sense. But my body was kind of like, don't go in. And I was like, that makes no sense. There's nobody here. I might as well go. There's nobody in the lobby. And I ended up going in. Well, some drunk guys ended up coming in after me, and they ended up following me to my room, and it created a whole bunch of crap. But stuff like that, even though it makes no sense, I now know I follow that. And it's simple things like that just even it may make no logical sense, but I'll do it. If it means taking the long way to the kids' school, whatever, I do it.
I remember that story at ESB. I remember that because I was like, I get that. I would have followed you to your room too. I was like, yeah. I remember locking your door and calling a friend, and yeah. I remember that. Yeah, so honor you. That's awesome. So that's one of those elements of intimacy, and that being vulnerable enough to really perceive what your body requires and desires. So you could wake up in the morning and you're, and I am going to go to that crazy place that I got to go there at least once a show. If you wake up and your body is like, can you masturbate now, please? Just listen to your body, even if you're going to be 10 minutes late. How much happier can your day be if you just go for that 10 minutes masturbation and like go have a fun day. Like what? Really? If you're going to be late, you might as well have fun, right? Like I like your like your philosophy.
No, you make that time.
You make the time for your body.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. If that's coffee or masturbation or both simultaneously.
Both.
Just choose
I didn't know what we're allowed to say here.
It's okay. Have a sip of coffee, masturbate, shower. Masturbate in the shower, have some more coffee. We're good to go. We can say masturbate because it's technically not a swear. Well, we can say fuck too. So we're okay, but we just
and I love that because I love that. I am someone that swear. I used to have a charge on it because again it was bad, and now I'm just like if I just say it. That was one of my things. I'm like, am I going to cut that out?
You're okay. I know because before I even got the radio show, I had to clear it with my friend Christine. Christine, I got a trucker mouth, so I don't know if I can handle pulling that back. Like I'm gonna have to like stop and think. Otherwise, I can just flow and like the swearing sometimes comes out. But yeah, so one of those elements of intimacy, like honor, like that's a great one. So and trust that you know, like that elevator one for you. Like how much more?
Yeah.
Did you begin to trust you and your knowing after that? Right? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
trust that you know.
Yeah. I actually had to step back a little bit from other people because not everybody has to do this by any means, but for me, because I live my life so much as being a people pleaser and just wanting someone to like me, please be my friend, please I actually used to have affirmations. And I actually used to I am happy and I am loved and I have many friends that love me for who I am and all that stuff. And I really, because I didn't have that. I just had people that I was more wanting the affection from. And from that, I ended up creating, when I just started just being me, when I just finally said, screw all of that, I'm going to do me. I got a cousin that I absolutely adore. Me and her, she was 10 years younger than me, and it was just, we became the best of friends. And I also created more friends. Before that, I didn't even have a play group, and it was that's another way of nurturing me was, and I still to this day, actually even my children, they've become someone that fill me up in ways. And when I was talking about doing things that feel good, sometimes it's hanging out with them. Sometimes it's always something different, but if you follow that, even though it makes no freaking sense whatsoever, if it's masturbating in the middle of whatever, do it. If it just do it.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe not in front of your friends.
Oh, that's really good clarification. Thank you.
Depending which friends they are.
That's right. They might encourage you, and they might videotape you, and you might get money for it. It's just,
that would be horrible.
Don't get money for it, whatever you do. So that's also the allowance, right? Not judging you for your choices. Going, okay, today I really choose not to be with my kids. I choose to go be on my own and take a walk or go shoe shopping. Just being an allowance of you and not judging you for, I must be a bad mother because I didn't just choose to have a 5-hour play date with my kid or something. So, and being an allowance of them and their choices. If they don't want to hang out with you or judge them for their choices, just that whole allowance thing makes life so much more ease. Yeah. We actually have to go to break in 10 seconds again. If that keeps showing up. So we're going to go to break. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more because we've only got 10 minutes left of this show. How did you morph time? I know. What is that? We've got to play again. When we come back from break, we will talk some more.
Okay.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and our guest today is Natalie Krishna, and we are having this amazingly fun conversation about sexualness, intimidating or inviting. And part of that intimidating is that intimate dating of yourself and all those elements of intimacy that you have with yourself. And so I chose that particular word because for me it really matched the energy of how I see Natalie. And that I see her when I first met her as intimidating and yet totally inviting. And so one of the elements that we haven't really discussed is that element of gratitude, although you kind of did touch on it and like how you've used gratitude in a way, though we haven't like made it totally obvious. So do you want to talk a little bit about how gratitude can be a contribution also to creating in your life, and how gratitude can also how gratitude is also part of that the yumminess that people can receive from us as the energy of sexualness, if that makes any sense.
Okay. I'm just wondering. I think gratitude and just your being would relate to sexualness. Just anytime you're just being, that equivals sexualness. I have found some people have commented actually even on some of my photos and things about me when I'm being sexual, and I literally am just being. You're not trying to do any of that. You're just being, and I think that would equivalent, I guess, to sexualness. And one thing I will say is when I was before when I was like kind of coming out of the trailer and becoming like just turning into more of me, one of the big things I actually did use was gratitude. And I just kind of looked at everything I had, and first off, I was so grateful. I was just like, I was starting to create for me, so I didn't have a lot of things, but I was grateful for it. And I found that I was actually I was being approached by more males. Like I was being approached by, I was being more the invitation, I guess, just when I stepped into more of me. So I can see how the gratitude would kind of create that it would just be maybe more fun, more play. Yeah.
Cool. So for during the show, we've had a few callers online. If anybody would actually really like to be unmuted and they have access to the internet, we have literally like 4 minutes left. But if anybody wants to just say, "Hey, Natalie, I love you," you can do that. We do only have a couple minutes left, and we've had some technical difficulties on this show. And I just want to say, like, we really appreciate and am so grateful for you listening live. It really contributes to the energy. Also, listening in the future, all of that, like perceiving all of that and everything that all of you guys are contributing to this call. We're super grateful for all of you, and so this is also where the element of gratitude can come into. Like, there's so many ways to be grateful, and that energy is such an amazing contribution to creating more for now and in the future. And how that can be an invitation, even in, say, in your love life, Natalie. Like, I don't know about you, but with my lover, I often like thank him. Like, almost always will be like, "Thanks, that was awesome. Thank you so much for letting me do that for you. Like, thank you for letting me gift you a blowjob," or like, "Thank you for, you know, giving pleasure to my body. Like, thank you so much." Like, how many times do we like forget to be grateful to the people in our lives for all the things that they are contributing to us? And what if we started like right now and just started to choose to do that? And so, yeah, how has gratitude worked for you with relationships with other people?
That is definitely, when you're talking about the blowjobs, that is definitely one that just, gratitude, like actually even when I said before, when I didn't have a lot of friends, having gratitude for them. I have like 3 great girls that I absolutely love. I have 2 cousins and a girl I met through going to massage school with, and that created like friendship relationships that work for me. So if it doesn't work to hang out, like I kind of have deal and delivers, like when things work, but they add so much to my life and they don't even realize it. And then I have partners, like whenever, like with my children, then my partner, it's just gratitude has created so much more. And the gift of even blowjobs that we're talking about, like that's a gift to me. Him, it's a bonus, right? That he's in a better mood for a few days. Like, for me, it's like, oh God, thank you.
For letting me do that. There's so much more ease in my universe now.
Yeah, there is with that. It's just like, it's like yummy juice or something.
It is, right? And it's like a protein shake all in one.
Yeah.
So, like, how would we start today? Be grateful for your body. Be grateful for everything you're choosing. Be grateful for the people you're choosing and for everything they're contributing to you and for everything you're contributing to your own life. Like Natalie, when I had to be on this show, it was really funny. Like last night, this newsletter came out from Access Consciousness, and the Pleasure Zone is the one that's being featured. Which blew my mind. And so I was like, thank you so much for contributing your energy to like whatever this created. We've got about 20 seconds left, so can you give everybody actually 15, how they can find you?
My website, or like Natalie Krishna,
yes,
on the Access site, Natalie Krishna on Facebook, or Natalie Krishna email at yahoo.ca.
Awesome.
Any of them
so
would
if you
be
would
awesome.
like any of that, and she's a certified facilitator, she does Access Consciousness classes, bars classes, all kinds of stuff. Contact her, and thank you so much. I love you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for choosing to listen to The Pleasure Zone. Milica Jelenic will return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.